I was actually thinking about this the other day while I was working with a few different colors. There's this moment that happens, and I know you've probably experienced this too, where everything is going smoothly, and then you switch to a different color, and suddenly it feels like you're working with a completely different product. But it's the same brand, it's the same system, it's the same process, but the way it applies changes. The way it moves changes, and sometimes even the way it cures feels completely different. And it's subtle enough that you start questioning yourself a little bit. Like, did I just apply that wrong? Why did this one wrinkle, but the last one didn't? And what's interesting is that most of the time that gets chalked up simply to technique. But if you zoom out a little bit, it's actually telling you something really specific about the material. One of the biggest gaps I see, especially for DIY users, is that the color is treated like the simplest part of the process. It's the fun part, the aesthetic part. It's the part that all of us look forward to. But chemically, it's one of the most demanding parts of any gel system. Why is it complicated? Because the moment you introduce pigment, you're no longer working with a uniform gel anymore. You're working with a suspension. And that suspended pigment changes everything. There's something really important that most people don't know about color gels. Pigment isn't dissolved into the gel, it's dispersed and suspended, which means that you have solid particles sitting throughout that formula. And those particles have very real physical characteristics. Some are extremely fine, some are larger and more irregular, some are heavier, some reflect light, some absorb it, some scatter it in multiple directions. And so now, instead of light moving cleanly through a clear system, it's navigating around all of these obstacles. And that has a direct impact on polymerization. Curing isn't just about turning the lamp on. It's about whether enough energy is actually reaching all the way through that layer. So when you pick up something like a dense white, a really dark black, or a highly saturated color like neons or yellows, you're working with a formula that has to fight a little bit harder to cure evenly. And the more pigment you pack in, the tighter that margin becomes. If this video is already helping you, be sure to like and subscribe, because this video is part of a larger series called How to Do Gel Nails at Home. You can start from the beginning at any time, and I recommend watching this series in order if you want the full foundation. And throughout the series, I'll occasionally drop some small knowledge check-ins and rewards for those of you that are truly paying attention. So keep watching. This is where I want you to actually see it. And as you're watching this, I don't want you to just look at the color. I want you to really take a look at how the product behaves. Look at how it goes on. Look at how it spreads. Because what you're really seeing here is how each system is handling pigment load. Some formulas stay very thin and fluid, which can feel maybe easy at first, but you can lose control, especially with heavier colors. Others are built with more structure, so you can guide the product more intentionally, and that difference becomes more obvious the more pigment the color gets. With Attain, we specifically formulated our formula so that you can safely and carefully apply color on all 4 or 5 fingers if you'd like to, without the risk of things like flooding or too much product movement. And not every brand takes that into consideration. This is where I want to zoom out for a second, because there's a bigger context behind why these differences even exist. When gel polish first started becoming popular, one of the biggest goals for manufacturers was to make the transition feel easy. People were used to traditional nail polish back then. Gel didn't even exist. So instead of introducing something completely new, a lot of early gel systems were designed to feel as close to nail polish as possible.
Let's talk about shellac. What exactly is it?
Shellac is a hybrid between a polish and a gel. Some of the gels are very thick and they have to be filed off. Shellac is more of a polish.
Thin, fluid, familiar brush strokes, similar application mindset, and in some cases, those formulas even included things like solvents, ingredients more commonly associated with traditional lacquer systems. And that's the part that allows those lacquer systems to air dry. those solvents also change how the product behaves. It can affect how the gel flows, how stable it is over time in the bottle, and how consistently it performs. So what you end up with is something that sits in this in-between space. I call them hybrids. It's not quite traditional polish, but it's also not fully optimized as a gel system either. And that approach didn't just stay in the early days. As gel nails became more popular with DIY users, especially over just the last few years, a lot of brands continued building products in that same direction. Not necessarily to improve performance, but to make the experience feel easier and more familiar. And this is also where a lot of my own personal frustration with DIY products comes from. Instead of educating users on how to work with higher performing systems, a lot of brands are simplified to the point where they limit what the gel can actually do. They try to reduce user error, but they also reduce capability. And personally, I don't believe in easy bake oven style nails. I don't think the solution is to make products that do less just so that they feel easier at first. I think the value comes from giving people better tools and then actually helping them understand how to use them. When you do that, you're not just applying color, you're learning how to control it. You're learning how to utilize a really powerful tool. And when you look at these side-by-side comparisons, you can start to see that difference, not just in how the gel looks, but in how they've been designed. And I want to pause here for a second, and I want to let you know that I hear you and I hear your frustration, because this is something I hear all the time. A lot of DIY users are constantly trying to figure out what's actually good quality, what's going to work consistently, and what's actually worth investing in. And what ends up happening is this cycle of constantly trying new brands, buying more colors, and just hoping and praying that the next product feels better or works better or is easier to use, without really being given the information to understand why things behave the way that they do. And over time, that adds up because the real cost of color isn't just what you spend in the moment. It's what happens when you slowly build a collection around a system that may not actually be working the way you expected. You're probably there already. You might have 50, 80, 100 bottles. And even if they were inexpensive individually, that's still hundreds of dollars tied up in products that you may not fully trust or may not even want to keep using long term. And at that point, the difficulty is that switching feels hard, or maybe it's even financially burdensome. It's not because you don't want to make the switch, it's because of how much you've already invested in those products. And layered into all of that frustration, there's also been growing awareness around allergies and sensitivities, which we've talked a lot about earlier in this series. But this connects back to color more than people realize. When you're working with highly pigmented gels, you're also working with tighter curing margins. So if layers are too thick or the system isn't designed to manage that pigment well, you increase the chances of incomplete curing. And that's honestly where formulation, application, and awareness all come together. This is really where Attain was designed differently. Instead of starting with one clear base and forcing every color into it, we start with the pigment. What does this color actually need in order to apply smoothly, apply opaquely, stay controlled, and also ultimately cure properly? That's what determines how the gel is built. That's why the viscosity feels more structured. And that's also what makes our gels possible to be used for nail art as well as full color. And this understanding is where color starts to shift from something you collect to something that you can actually use. When you're working with highly pigmented gels that have structure, you can do amazing things like mix shades to create entirely new colors, adjust undertones, customize finishes, use them for detailed nail art, or apply them for full coverage. And that's a big part of how Attain was built. The colors are designed to work together, not to exist as hundreds of isolated options you feel like you need to keep buying. This is the honest part. Color is one of the fastest ways to overspend in nails. There's always a new release, a new trend, a slightly different version of something you already have. But after working across so many brands over the years, I started to notice something. There are only so many colors. They repeat constantly, just with slight variations. So instead of building a collection based on volume and quantity, what if you built it based on actual capability and value? Even if you're buying $5 gel polish, if you buy 100 bottles, that's still $500. And that doesn't even account for whether those products are something you can confidently use long term, or if they're something that are safe to use. With Attain, the goal was never to create another system that requires you to keep buying more to feel complete. The goal was to help you stay nimble. Fewer products, more versatility, and better performance. And ultimately, more control over what you're actually putting on your nails and your body. So now that you understand what's actually happening inside color gels and why some feel inconsistent dependent on the shade, you can probably also start to see why Attain feels different than a lot of what's out there. It's not trying to behave like a traditional DIY polish style system. It's built with more structure, more pigment, and more intention behind how it's meant to be used. And that's really where the next step comes in. In the next episode, I'm going to show you how to get more out of your Attain color gels than most people get out of an entire drawer or wall full of bottles. I'm going to show you how to hack your Attain color gels. I'm going to show you things like how to customize your brush, how to change your interaction with the product to get smooth, even, full color application, and how to use the same gels for really precise, detailed nail art without bleeding or feathering. Once you understand how to work with a system like this, you don't need endless colors to feel like you have options.